Brand, aye.
And Chairman Eilert.
Eilert, aye. We do have a quorum present. Would the clerk please read the proposed consent agenda items?
Item number 1, consider approving the September 15th, 2022 business session minutes. Item number 2, consider approving the appointment of Janine Estrada Lopez, 4th District Representative to the 10th Judicial District Nominating Commission through March 4th, 2024. Item number 3, consider approving the appointment of Charles W. McAllister Jr., 5th District Representative to the Commission on Aging through August 31st, 2024. Item number 4, consider approving the reappointment of Andrea Levitt, 1st District Representative to the Commission on Aging through August 31st, 2025. Item number 5, consider approving the reappointment of Debbie Scott Williams, 2nd District Representative to the Developmental Supports Board through August 31st, 2025. Item number 6, consider approving the reappointment of Carol Lehman, 4th District Representative to the Airport Commission through July 31st, 2025. Item number 7, consider approving the reappointment of Mark Berdowski, 6th District Representative to the Fire District Number 1 Governing Board through July 1st, 2025. Item number 8, consider approving the reappointment of Gail V. Richardson, 7th District Representative to the Developmental Supports Board through August 31st, 2025. Item number 9, consider approving an agreement with Douglas County for $6,000 out of a $50,000 total construction cost for a replacement of a culvert on County Line Road, 0.05 miles south of 135th Street, utilizing road, bridge, and culvert CIP funds. Item number 10, consider approving the 2022 annual update to the Johnson County Solid Waste Management Plan as an amendment to the Solid Waste Management Plan 2019 edition. This update provides progress on this plan. And item number 11, IFB number 2022-067, consider authorizing a contract with Delta Innovative Services Incorporated for the tower roof repair and recoding project at the Adult Detention Center located at 101 North Kansas, Olathe, Kansas, 66061, in the amount not to exceed $155,000.
Are there any questions on the appointments? How about number 9? Ryan, any comments you want to make? This is a cooperative project with Douglas County.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Ryan Sims with Public Works. Yeah, so by state statute, we're required to have an interlocal agreement with the construction cost breakout for joint projects. So these are based off the total assessed values of the county. So in this case, 12% Douglas County is responsible for, which is about $6,000 out of a $50,000 total construction cost.
Okay. All right, 56,000 is going to cure it?
50,000 total. So
Oh.
estimate about 44,000 for Johnson County, 6,000 for Douglas County.
All right, okay, other questions?
Procedural question.
Yeah.
Ryan, is it before us because it's an interlocal agreement?
Correct. Yeah, normally this would just be an have our own purchasing authority to do something like this.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Number 10, are there any questions there? Mary, any comments you'd like to make?
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. This really is just our solid waste management plan update to you on the progress that we've made on the plan. And in the past, we've, done this through resolution, and Natalie Yoza helped us through this. Really, this is just an update to you. There's been no substantive changes to the plan. So we have another year to get through with this plan, and then we'll be planning for the next 5 years. This plan update was also approved by the Solid Waste Management Committee.
Okay. all
So
right,
pretty
thank you.
much.
Questions? All right, thank you. Ms. Hanslick.
Yes, I'd like to ask that this be placed on agenda, just so people can hear that we have a solid waste management plan and what types of items it addresses, if you don't mind.
Okay, so noted. Next item.
Right.
Item number 11, Mr. Pedig, any comments you'd like to make, or representative thereof?
Chairman, Commissioners, Kurt Remingay, Facilities Management Department. This is part of our 2022 Major Asset Replacement Program, as identified as part of work needs to be done. This is a protective coating that we're putting on the roof up there. The original roof was put in 2007. Additional work was done in 2012. This work will extend that roof life 12 to 15 years. It has come in under our proposal cost of $160,000.
You mean this roof only lasted 15 years?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, this remain on consent? So noted until next week, so. All right, next item.
Item number 12, consider authorizing mental health staff to contract with the City of Leawood to provide the city mental health diversion services.
Tanner.
Tanner Fortney, Mental Health. So this is an item where we're requesting to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the City of Leawood to provide mental health diversion services. Mental Health has contracts with the Johnson County District Court, as well as the City of Olathe, the City of Overland Park, and the City of Lenexa to provide what's called mental health diversion. Essentially what it is that as individuals that enter that go through the judicial system, if they have committed a crime, which would be a non-felony crime, typically misdemeanor or lower, and it's determined that, or it's believed, I should say rather, that the crime was perpetrated as a result of the person's mental status, because they do have an SPMI or a PRE diagnosis, then the prosecutors for that city or for the district court can contact mental health. They can speak with us. We perform an assessment of the individual, and if that individual qualifies for the diversion services because they do have a diagnosis that caused that, then we can work with that person. They enter into a plea agreement with the court, and then they have to enter our services, go through a treatment plan that we prepare based on their needs, and then they're on 12 months diversion. And if they successfully complete that diversion process, then just like typical diversion, it would be removed from that person's record, and they would not have to serve any jail time or fines or anything else that could be associated with that. In the memorandum of understanding, there's some more details about the process that goes through that, so I won't get into that unless there's a whole lot of questions. So we're asking to enter into an agreement with Leawood as far as that goes. There is no additional staffing or any funding that is going to be attributed to this. This is all going to be done with existing staffing levels. And the only thing I would just mention in closing is just to give you an idea of the success of the program. Between 2019 and 2021, there were, between all those different courts and jurisdictions, we had 205 individuals that were referred to the program. 106 were accepted, and of those, 71 individuals, or approximately 67%, entered mental health services and successfully completed the terms of their diversion. And so far in 2022, from speaking with our clinical staff, that number is 82% for this year. With that, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Yes, Ms. Allenbrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I happened to be at the Mental Health Advisory Board. I was actually at that meeting and heard from them, and what a great program, and keeping people, out of the system, so that it helps, relieve the sheriff. It's just a great program, and I hope in the near future it would really be nice to have a committee of the whole meeting just on that program and how it works, because it's very interesting. Anyway, thank you.
Mr. Myers.
It is sharp,
Thank you.
isn't it?
All right, do we want to leave this?
It looks better on some people.
I don't know what the odds were of that happening.
I didn't even notice.
Where's your vest?
Commissioner. Action or consent?
Action. Tanner, can you email me like the misdemeanor crimes that we serve through this program? I just want to get a better idea, how this program helps at our city level municipal courts. If you could just email me that.
I could get you some examples, sure.
Still want it on action?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so noted. Next item.
Item number 13, Invitation for bid, IFB number 2022-068. Consider authorizing a contract with DH Pace Company, Incorporated, to remove the existing overhead rolling doors and replace with exterior coiling doors on the Phase 1 recreation areas of the New Century Adult Detention Center, NCADC, located at 27745 West 159th Street, New Century, Kansas, 66031, in the amount not to exceed $155,998.
Afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. This project will replace the 4 overhead rolling doors at the detention center that right now open up for fresh air into the recreation apartments. We'll be replacing those with exterior coiling doors, which will allow us the access to maintain those. Right now, 2 of those doors are non-functional. One of them has broken glass. And we only received 1 bid on this, but we're comfortable with that bid. They came in under our probable cost. We've done work with DH Pace in the past and are very comfortable with this. I stand for questions.
I don't remember where this feature of the center was part of the original questions about the construction thereof. But, so I'm not surprised that this comes back to us. So, any other questions, Mr. Ashcraft?
Before next week, a Zoom call, just a couple process questions.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hanslick?
Yes, just, can you help me understand what the difference, what is a coiling door versus the existing doors?
The existing roll-up doors are like you would see in a concession stand, where they roll up inside.
Okay.
And the coiling door actually comes up on the outside of the framework. And so they work mechanically better, and we can actually get to them from the outside where we won't have to impact the detainees.
Thank you.
All right, this will remain on action. Next item.
Item number 14, RFP number 2022-060. Consider accepting the FEMA Cooperating Technical Partners Grant Award in the amount of $863,300 and authorizing a contract with Stantec to complete the Turkey and Brush Creek two-dimensional floodplain modeling and mapping project in an amount not to exceed $1,014,953.
Ms. Smith?
Could you put up the map? Sarah Smith with the Stormwater Management Program. As you may or may not recall, I was here about a year ago with a very similar request for 2D modeling of Indian Creek. That project is well underway, and we've had a lot of positive feedback from the cities. Based on that, we applied for a second FEMA CTP grant, and we were awarded $863,300 to do two-dimensional modeling for Turkey and Brush Creeks. As you know, our existing one-dimensional models are great planning tools, but they are based on data that's now 20-plus years old. We have 20 more years of precipitation data. There have been changes in terrain and also advancements in technology. Two-dimensional models have many advantages over the one-dimensional counterpart, which I can go into more detail if you wish, but I thought I'd keep it brief today. But also, in addition to the two-dimensional model, we will be asking for 3 additional items to help cities in their risk communication. Those are probabilistic flood risk assessment, refining our mitigation needs, and also the delineation of inundated areas into future rainfall scenarios. August 5th, 2022, FMA Purchasing opened the RFP number 2022-060, and we had 4 respondents, and Stantec was the winning firm. 4 of the cities in Watershed Org 1 were invited and participated in the selection process, and that was Merriam, Prairie Village, Shawnee, and Mission Hills. And all cities will be invited to participate in progress meetings, and will have opportunities to comment on the modeling process. Funding for the project will come from a combination of the $863,300 FEMA grant award and also $202,986 from the previously adopted 2022 Stormwater Management Program expenditures studies budget. We presented this item to the Stormwater Management Advisory Council and was unanimously approved.
Okay. Well, thank you. This is a good project, needs to be done, and thank you to FEMA for their support. Other questions, Mr. Ashcraft?
Yeah, Ms. Smith, I've got some process questions, so before next week, if we could visit.
Of course.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, well, this will remain on action. Thank you very much. Next item.
Item number 15, consider entering into a memorandum of agreement with the City of Lawrence, Kansas, for funding from the City of Lawrence for the operation of the K-10 connector transit route in the amount of $155,000 in FY 2022 and $155,000 in FY 2023.
Josh, Mr. Powers.
Chairman, Commissioners, good afternoon. Josh Powers with Transit. This item is in regard to a memorandum of understanding with the City of Lawrence, Kansas, for that city's funding support for the K-10 connector transit route. The K-10 connector operates between the campuses of Johnson County Community College and the KU Edwards campus in Overland Park and the KU campus in Lawrence, Kansas. The KU connector, has been in service since 2007, and the City of Lawrence began contributing funding in support of the route in 2014. The initial funding amount was $120,000 a year and was increased in 2018 to $135,000 and increased again in 2019 to $155,000. Our previous MOU with the city expired in December of 2020, but was extended for 1 year for fiscal year 2021, although at a reduced amount of $142,000 to reflect the reduced level of service due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The proposed MOU before you would provide funding from the city in the amount of $155,000 for both fiscal years 2022 and 2023, and future funding amounts would be negotiated with the city in 2023. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions.
Questions? Mr. Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Powers, remind me what the basis for the cost recovery is. Is it full cost, or was some negotiated formula? I don't remember how the amount was determined. I remember us going through a number of iterations to equalize it, but what is the basis?
Certainly. So this conversation goes back a number of years based off conversations between the county manager's office and the city administrator's office. But what we landed on was a funding formula based on population and ridership. So 80% of the funding amount is based on population, 20% based on ridership. And so when you run those numbers, you come down to this negotiated amount of $155,000.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Hanslick.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Powers. If you could just clarify, this funding is in addition to the rider fees that are paid for by people using the K-10 connector.
So
Correct?
we are not currently charging fares on fixed route service. That will be
Oh, okay, and includes.
that will be a policy decision for the board. But yes, there is no fare box revenue for K-10 connector. This is basically funding from the city because they recognize the benefit that the city gets from this service.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Other questions? All right, well, action or consent?
Consent's fine with me.
All right, consent is noted at this time. Are there any other items?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes our agenda review for next week's business session. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned, and make Kent Lage's retirement reception if you can. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Works, yeah.